The car buzzed with excitement as Rohan drove, his hands steady on the wheel but his mind racing with anticipation. The mountain air was crisp, and every twist in the road seemed to promise a new adventure. The friends had been planning this trip for months, saving up pocket money, mapping out routes, and dreaming of the freedom that awaited them beyond the city limits. Aryan cranked up the music, filling the car with their favorite songs, each beat echoing their excitement. The playlist was a mix of old classics and new hits, and every track brought back memories of late-night study sessions and shared secrets. Ananya and Emily giggled over a map in the back seat, tracing their fingers along the winding roads and debating which scenic stops to make. Their laughter was infectious, and even the smallest detour felt like a new discovery waiting to happen. This was their first big trip after exams, a celebration of freedom and friendship. The stress of late-night cramming and endless textbooks was finally behind them, replaced by the thrill of the open road and the promise of adventure. They dreamed of exploring Shimla, imagining themselves wandering through bustling markets, breathing in the scent of pine trees, and watching the clouds drift lazily over the hills. Sipping hot chocolate in mountain cafes was high on their list, the thought of warm mugs between their hands as they gazed out at the misty peaks making them smile, and capturing misty mornings on camera, hoping to freeze those magical moments forever, was a dream they all shared. The journey was as important as the destination, endless snacks, off-key singing, and silly games that made the hours fly by. Every shared joke and every crumb of chips added to the tapestry of memories they were weaving together. Laughter filled the car, echoing off the windows and spilling out into the mountain air, making even the longest stretches of road feel short. Rohan glanced at his friends, heart swelling with happiness. In that moment, he realized these were the days they would remember for the rest of their lives. They felt invincible, as if nothing could go wrong. The world outside seemed distant, and inside the car, they were wrapped in a bubble of joy and possibility. The car was their bubble of joy, racing toward the mountains, every turn bringing a new view and a fresh burst of excitement. Every kilometer brought them closer to their dream, and the anticipation grew with every passing signpost. Aryan joked about telling ghost stories in the hills, his voice rising theatrically, but no one took him seriously, at least not yet. The future seemed bright and boundless, every sunrise a promise of new adventures and unforgettable memories. Fate had other life, waiting just around the next bend, ready to turn their perfect trip into a story they would never forget. The city faded behind them, replaced by rolling hills and crisp mountain air. Rohan navigated winding roads, Aryan switched to mellow tunes, and the friends soaked in the breathtaking views. Emily snapped photos. Ananya pointed out tiny villages below. The world felt peaceful, their worries melting away. As the sun dipped, fog rolled in, swallowing the road in thick mist. Tension replaced laughter as Rohan slowed, straining to see ahead. The once inviting mountains now loomed, mysterious and menacing. Visibility dropped to near zero. The car crawled forward, unease growing with every turn. They were no longer sure what waited for them in the darkness. The fog thickened, muffling all sound. The world outside the car seemed to vanish, swallowed by a dense, ghostly mist that clung to the mountainside. Every tree, every rock, every curve in the road disappeared into a swirling gray void, leaving only the hum of the engine and the anxious breaths of those inside. Suddenly, blinding headlights appeared, on the wrong side of the road. For a split second, time seemed to freeze, the harsh beams slicing through the fog like knives, illuminating terrified faces and the narrow, twisting path ahead. Rohan swerved, tires screeching, the car spinning out of control. The steering wheel jerked in his hands as the vehicle fishtailed wildly, skidding across the slick, rain-soaked asphalt, Shouts and gasps filled the car as panic set in. Impact. Metal crunched, glass shattered, and everything went black. The world exploded in a chaos of noise and pain, then faded into an eerie, suffocating silence. Rohan awoke to pain and confusion. His head throbbed, and the acrid smell of smoke and gasoline filled the air. Distantly, he heard the groans of his friends, the sound of rain tapping on broken glass. The car was wrecked, Aryan unconscious, Ananya injured, Emily in shock. Blood trickled down Aryan's forehead. Ananya clutched her arm, and Emily stared blankly ahead, trembling. They crawled from the wreck, huddling in the cold rain. Shivering, soaked to the bone, they clung to each other for warmth and comfort, their breaths visible in the frigid night air. No phone signal, no help in sight. The road was deserted, the silence broken only by the distant rumble of thunder and the relentless patter of rain. Despair set in until Emily spotted a faint light through the fog. It flickered uncertainly, barely visible, but it was enough to spark a fragile hope among the group. An old, dark house perched on the hill, a single window glowing. The light seemed to beckon them, promising shelter from the storm, though its source was mysterious and unsettling. It looked abandoned, but it was their only hope. With nowhere else to turn, they knew they had to take the risk, despite the unease that crept over them. Supporting each other, they limped toward the house. Every step was a struggle, their injuries slowing them. The promise of safety urged them on. The night pressed in, heavy and silent. The forest seemed to watch them, shadows shifting in the mist, as if the darkness itself was alive. They had no idea what awaited them inside, but with nowhere else to go, they pushed open the creaking door, stepping into the unknown. The house loomed, ancient and eerie, its windows like vacant eyes. The porch groaned under their weight as they entered. Inside, the air was cold and thick with dust. Moonlight revealed furniture draped in sheets, shadows dancing on the walls. They found a fireplace and managed to start a small fire. Huddled together, they tried to ignore the unsettling silence. Ananya whispered, "It feels like we're not alone." Rohan tried to reassure them, but the feeling of being watched lingered. The house offered shelter, but not comfort. As night deepened, the house filled with strange noises. Wind howled, floorboards creaked, and a soft, dragging sound echoed above. Ananya heard whispers drifting from the shadows. Rohan tried to rationalize, but fear gripped them all. Suddenly, the doorknob turned by itself. The door creaked open to reveal only darkness. Objects moved on their own. A book thudded to the floor. A rocking chair swayed. The friends huddled by the fire, too scared to move. Every sound sent a fresh wave of panic. They fed the fire, clinging to its light. Sleep was impossible. The night stretched on, a blur of terror and shadows. They could only wait for morning. The fire died down, shadows twisting into menacing shapes. Suddenly, a child's laughter echoed from above, followed by the sound of a bouncing ball. The noise grew closer, stopping at the doorway. Aryan, trembling, called out, "Who's there?" Silence fell. Then a soft, bluish light glowed in the hallway. A translucent boy holding a ball appeared, sad and curious. He wasn't frightening, just lonely. The friends stared, fear giving way to wonder. The ghostly boy hovered, watching them. The house's secrets were finally revealing themselves. A strange calm settled over the group. Emily stepped forward, asking gently, "Who are you?" The boy's answer echoed in their minds. "My name is Samir. I live here." He hadn't meant to scare them. He was just lonely. Ananya asked, "What happened to you?" Images flashed, a happy family, sudden illness, a boy left behind. Samir was a lost soul, not a threat. the friends' fear melted into sympathy. They talked with Samir, sharing stories and memories. The noises had been his attempts to reach out. For a while, they forgot their fear and pain. 5 souls, living and dead, found comfort in each other's company. The night no longer felt so cold. Dawn crept in, the storm finally over. The friends prepared to leave, thanking Samir. But Samir's expression turned grave. "You can't go. You belong here now." Confusion turned to dread. He urged them to look out the window. Below, emergency vehicles surrounded their wrecked car. Paramedics lifted 4 bodies onto stretchers. A gust revealed Rohan's face beneath a sheet. The friends stared in horror. They saw themselves. The truth hit. They hadn't survived the crash. They were ghosts, bound to the house. Their fear and pain had been echoes of their final moments. They weren't visitors. They were the newest residents. The realization was shattering. Grief overwhelmed them, their dreams and lives lost in an instant. The room felt heavy with sorrow, every corner echoing with memories of laughter and hope that now seemed so distant. Each friend was caught in their own storm of emotions, struggling to make sense of the sudden loss that had shattered their world. Ananya wept, her tears falling freely as Emily wrapped her arms around her, offering comfort through her own pain. Rohan stared at his fading hands, disbelief etched across his face, as if willing himself to wake from a nightmare. Their grief was raw, but in their closeness, a fragile strength began to form. Samir floated closer, his presence gentle and reassuring. He offered soft, encouraging words. "You have each other. You're not alone." His voice, though otherworldly, was filled with warmth and understanding, reminding them that even in the darkest moments, connection could be found. Their friendship, even in death, was unbroken. As they embraced, acceptance slowly replaced despair. The pain of loss was still there, but it was softened by the realization that their bond was stronger than anything they had faced before. A warm, welcoming light appeared at the far end of the room, casting away the shadows and filling the space with hope. It beckoned to them, promising peace and a new beginning beyond the sorrow. Hand in hand, the friends turned toward it, their steps slow but steady. Together, they found the courage to move forward, united by the love and memories they shared. They gave Samir a grateful farewell. He would never be lonely again. Their gratitude was deep, for he had guided them through the darkness and shown them the way to peace. As they stepped into the light, peace washed over them, gentle and all-encompassing. The weight of their sorrow lifted, replaced by a sense of calm and belonging. The pain and fear melted away, leaving only relief and gratitude. They felt lighter, as if the burdens of their past lives had finally been set free. Their ghostly adventure ended, but their journey together continued. The light ahead was not an end, but a new chapter, one they would face side by side. They moved on, not as lost souls, but as friends, forever bound by love. In this new world, they found peace, comfort, and the promise of endless tomorrows together. Even death could not break their bond. Their friendship, tested by fate, had become eternal, a light that would never fade.